So today I'm going to be listening to a piece for percussion and electronics by Kaya Saariaho. It's called Six Japanese Gardens, and it dates from the 90s. So this is a older piece of hers. It's a collection of impressions of the gardens she saw in Kyoto during her stay in Japan in 1993. It's in six parts, which have their own rhythmic material. All the work for processing and mixing the pre-recorded material was done with a Mac in Saariaho's home studio. Some of the transformations are made with resonant filters in the Chant program. The Chant program, if you're not familiar, is like a famous um, early tool that was made at Earcom. And this would have been after Saariaho studied at Earcom in France. And then it also involves the use of a SVP phaser vocoder. And she was assisted by Jean-Baptiste Barrière. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Final mixing was made in Pro Tools with the assistance of Hans-Peter Stube Teiljerg. And the piece is commissioned by the Kunitachi College of Music and written for Shinichi Ueno. So I've never read through this, but it's actually it's kind of interesting, all the collaboration that goes into a piece like this. Um, a lot of people, um, in the U.S. especially, um, are doing this sort of thing, like solo musician and electronics. But obviously, the um, technology has become so affordable that most composers just do all this kind of thing themselves, and it's all digital nowadays. But this is sort of like old enough that it's a lot of um, analog stuff, and there may be a digital mock-up of it in Maximus P or something, but like the equipment list here is like a triggering pedal, a Yamaha SPX 1000, a MIDI interface, a Lexicon LXP15, some directional microphones, a PA mixer, stereo amplification. Okay, and there's some stuff going on in a computer. So there's like a mix of like digital and analog equipment. But I mean, I have no idea how you would go about setting this thing up. Um, the instrumentation list, if you're interested, is triangle, metal plate, wood block, log drum, stones, some suspended cymbals, finger cymbals, gongs, an octave of crotals, a Chinese drum, tambourine, timpani, which is probably the most expensive thing out of all of this, and a tam tam. But however you come to this piece, I invite you to listen along with me. Uh, I'm going to cut to the next section of the video where I'm going to talk about my thoughts post listen. If you'd like to listen in between, I would pause the video here. Okay, so these are pretty fun. It's hard to write six movement works or six miniatures like spanning 15 minutes like this. I think it's a really awkward number of pieces. You got to keep it interesting somehow, and I think Saariaho does a good job of like keeping the variety going, even though there's no like it's really mostly unpitched percussion. Even the pitched stuff is treated as if it were unpitched. The I guess the meat and potatoes of it is the first four movements, but the last two I think are more interesting. They're more like textural ones that slowly evolve. And the fourth one is a nice break from having electronics. It's just a straight percussion piece, and it's only one page. So I would, if you're a percussionist, I would check this page out and try to practice it. It looks like a lot of fun. Um, Also, the setup for this must be crazy. Like just looking at the way it's notated, it's so much to coordinate. It must be really visually interesting, all the movement that has to happen to make it work. The timpani introduction in the last movement is very satisfying. The opening movement is probably the most interesting one. It's just a timbral exploration, just exploring the different timbres of the setup. Um, because a lot of the material is like uh, algorithmic, you could say, or like slowly evolving, it was kind of a frustrating listen because nothing lasts as long as I wanted it to last. I wanted all of these ideas to go on much longer and slowly evolve as you would expect in like a spectral piece for percussion. And it just never did that. It was just always like kind of truncated and short and miniaturized. And I don't know if it was entirely successful. It looks like a lot of fun to put together, but yeah, it's just sort of a weird thing like spectral miniatures. Next, we're gonna go into a bunch of James Tenney postal pieces. He actually wrote three of them for percussion, so that'll be a quick detour.